Hey everyone, this is Luke from Stonemaier Chit. Today we're going to be trying something a little bit different. Over the past month, I've been recording the data and information for a tapestry video that we've been working on for a while. And over the course of this process, we've learned a lot of things. We've learned what to do with this kind of video and what not to do. And what not to do is exactly what I did, which is record a ton of stuff and kind of talk at the camera every now and then to sort of go over things, and the video just wasn't coming out in the way that I wanted to, so rather than deliver you a subpar video with me just kind of talking at the camera every now and then, I decided to record this overlay so that I might go over my process over the course of this video. I hope that you folks enjoy. And if you have any feedback on what I did with Tapestry and how we sort of created a smaller box for it, feel free to let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw here. And yeah, let's get into it. So Tapestry is a very large game by Stonemaier Games. It's their big release of the year, and it has a lot of components. Really quick, let's let past Luke go over those right now. We have a double-sided board, 33 tech cards, 50 tapestry cards, 48 territory tiles, 15 space tiles, 18 landmarks, 2 6-sided dice, and 1 12-sided die, 6 capital city mats, 5 income mats, 16 civilization mats, and 13 player tokens. So yeah, a lot of stuff to unpack here, but there's a good amount of this that we don't really have to mess with at all. Anything involving cards or the player boards or anything like that, we don't want to mess with that. Very high quality components and communicates the information well in a small package. But that means that the player board ultimately will be our footprint for how large we want the box to be. Now, looking forward, we're obviously going to need to modify the board most prominently. The board being something that Jamie himself spent a lot of time putting together and making svelte and distinct.
The board, I thought a lot about the board and how I wanted the board to work, how I wanted it to look, where I wanted the map to be versus the tracks on the board. And the board ended up having these curved edges that I thought gave it a little bit of a premium look to it.
So with all that being said, first things first, we need to condense these tracks down to a manageable and compact size. And the easiest way I found was that each of the different spots on the track is the exact same size as one of the cards in the game. So after getting the documentation from Jamie, we were able to digitally cut out each of the different sections of the various trees, condense them down to print and play cards, sleeve them, and then have those laid out each game that you play. And that makes it a lot easier to fit that into a small box. In regards to the landmark buildings, I'm not a huge fan of how they came out personally. The bases are a little unclear in terms of the rounded edges, and they're very large for components that don't really do much within the game parameters. At first I considered using tokens to sort of simulate the shapes of the different buildings, but that was too unwieldy. So I reached out to my friend Peter, who runs a local 3D print business, and he was able to get me the different 3D print bases that files have already been created for on BGG. Links to both in the description. Now, as for the map itself, I decided to go with the 1 to 3 player board simply because it's going to be smaller, it's going to be more compact, it's going to be easier to travel with. And after consulting with my friend John Gilmore, who does a lot of custom boards for different prototypes that he works on, what he recommended was print the maps on segmented sticker paper and then cut out the sticker paper and lay it out on foam core, and cut out the foam core as best you can. Now, we talked a little bit about making it a bifold or trifold board, but that just seemed like a lot more effort and energy than was needed for this project, and frankly, it made it easier to pack in the box if all 4 sections of the board were separate. So I cut out each of the different map pieces and just left them freeform. As for the box itself, I reached out to Daniel Newman, who creates custom boxes for some of his prototypes, and he walked me through the process of how to get the right dimensions for the sides of the box and how to ultimately put it all together in one complete package.
So basically, if you want it to be 10.5 inches on the inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, you can draw a square, 10.5 inches, and then if you're using a 1/4 inch material, you want to give it an extra 1/4 inch on all sides. So you actually wind up with an extra 1/2 inch. So it's going to be 11 by 11 is your overall outside size, right?
Okay.
And that's assuming no cushion. So you may want to add another little bit just for space, so it's not super tight.
Now, getting the right sizes for the different edges of the box was not easy, and I am a very impatient person. So luckily, my significant other and camera person, Jess, was able to come in and help me with some of the more technical end of things. And we were, over the course of a long evening, able to cut out all of the parts of the box that we needed to. The following morning, we followed up on the next portion of the box.
So then you're going to take the base, you're going to lay out the pieces, and you're going to have like the two slightly longer ones opposite from each other, the two slightly shorter ones opposite from each other, and it'll kind of nest in. And then I just take hot glue along the edge and like pop it down.
Okay.
And then, hot glue the ends to each other. So the two sides will go all the way to the edges, and then the other two will kind of fit in between. I'll go over it all with tape, usually like duct tape or some kind of cloth tape, just to kind of reinforce it and to hide the kind of raw edges of the foam core.
Right.
So I'll just take the lid and kind of butt it up against this edge and tape it. It's just taped over this edge.
How many layers of tape?
I think it's just one.
Just the one?
Oh, you know what I did was I taped all of the raw edges first, just around the outside, and then I tape it just over that edge, and then on the back, when you flatten it out, and then you tape it along the other side of the hinge. And then I just got some Velcro and did a little duct tape flap, and that, on the 3 non-hinged sides.
Okay.
And that just keeps it in place.
And yeah, this is the final product. I'm pretty happy with how it all came together. My only big issue at this point is scoring tracking. You're going to need to find some way to manually track that information. Ultimately, this project ran me about $50, I would say, all in all. And I'm fairly happy with the results. This would look a lot cleaner and nicer, but I think for a first attempt, I'm very happy with the ultimate results. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Let us know your thoughts down below and check us out on our Facebook page, Infectious Play. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.